Oh, the light's a little weird for me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, looks like we're up here. And to the counter. Make sure we're going. Okay, we're live.
All right.
Hello, everyone.
Leave.
Oh, you'll be all right. Broadcasting live from Maine. I think this is our first sit-down live. I know we did like a simple synergy workout a while back. We're going to try to do this like every Friday, and it's going to be a thing. Have comments on right now. We'll see if it goes well. Hopefully it does. I've set it up so that you have to be subscribed for 5 minutes to leave a comment. So it's only going to be those of you who have stuck with me for at least 5 minutes. Yeah, so we're going to talk, like the title said, about twin flames, the topic in general, a little bit about our, move this over a little bit. Yeah, a little bit about our experience. We're going to talk about our business, our mission, Sovereign Synergy. I've come on here and I've announced it before, or we came on and announced it before. And Sydney has been doing a lot on TikTok specifically, kind of honing her skills and, doing classes and stuff like that. And I know you've really enjoyed that. We're going to be doing some of that on here as well. Probably doing some Zoom stuff. And so we'll briefly be touching on some of the other stuff that I've spoken about on my channel. We've been really studying a lot of like Ashiana Dean and Lisa Renee's material, the Galactic Science material. Very briefly, the easiest way to check that out is ascensionglossary.com. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it.
And Ashiana Dean's on BitChute.
Yep. There's a BitChute channel called KS Library, and they've got like 150 videos of Ashiana Dean's workshops from the early 2000s era. They're actually still uploading some more recent content. So it's just there's so much information on there. And just a quick note on a lot of the BitChute videos, the link underneath the video that will give you like access to the PDFs, which is like the workshop manuals that accompany the videos. So there's a lot of information. I've been, ever since I saw the first video of Ashiana Dean, which was the Project Camelot interview that she did a few years back. Ever since I saw that first video, I was just like, this is it. Like, this is what I've been missing. This is the system. Like, this makes sense. Like, everything fits. And I've been studying it ever since. In the past year, so basically since a little bit before I met Sydney, I got out of research mode, and I've just been sort of applying, the knowledge, applying what I know, trying to just be here now, getting away from the tech. That's something that I will definitely be coming on here and speaking about. The Ahrimanic eighth sphere, the grid, how that's affecting people, what I'm seeing in terms of like behavioral trends with people and the division that we're seeing. And there's just a lot of problems with the tech, but again, I'm going to hit like a lot of just little bullet points today and be making some more content. And instead of in the past where a lot of my content was really focused on like heavy information research, moving forward, it's going to be more based on like and Sydney's experience and
application and integration and embodiment process.
And that's sort of what we've been doing for about the past year. We were dealing with like a lot of really crazy challenges over the past year. And we're finally now in a space. Hello, No More Games. Thank you. It's good to be back. Finally get to a space where like we feel like we can breathe. And we're in Maine, which is my home state. Like today, it's just a gorgeous day outside. Temperature's like perfect. We're sitting under a pergola. This is a huge like vine crawling over it. And out like the ocean, Casco Bay is like 100 feet that way. and you just hear birds chirping, and it's beautiful out here. Like, we're feeling more connected to nature, and not stifled by the city. How do you feel about that, Sid?
It's been nice. I can definitely feel the sense of clarity and just less overwhelm from not being in the energetic congestion of the city. Fun fact about hearing birds out in nature is that, well, back when we were hunter-gatherers, anytime that the birds were chirping meant that the area was safe. And so we actually have a deep rooted, I guess, what's the word? I don't know. Instinct, I guess. Yeah, so when we hear birds, it actually helps to calm the nervous system, activate the vagus nerve. And so I've definitely been experiencing that, and try to lean into that. It's been great. I've been doing my TikTok live classes out in the field or down by the shore, which is walking distance from where we're at. I got to make sure I'm learning when it's high tide and when it's low tide. That's still something I'm getting used to, because you don't have to worry about that as much in Florida. Florida doesn't really matter if it's high or low. You can still swim and whatever. But here, when it's low tide, it is way out. But anyways.
Yeah, and so, like for me, a few years back, I ended up like moving to Florida. And I know some of you have like followed me through the whole journey. And at the time, it provided a lot of what I needed. And there were a lot of lessons that I learned in that really heavy, like energetically dense environment. I also, the flip side of that was that it was like sunny all the time. And for me at the time, I like really needed that. Because I was just having a really hard time dealing with like winter and like being stuck inside, being stuck in like darkness, like that kind of thing. And so when I moved down there, it was like kind of like a double-edged sword, because I was getting that and I was able to like go out and jog every day and do that type of stuff. But I was dealing with a lot of things that I don't deal with up here. Specifically just being in a more urban environment, people are a little less trustworthy. There's a lot of cultural differences that were really hard for me to sort out. And I ended up having to learn a lot of hard lessons down there. And I feel like now I'm getting like a reprieve, and Sydney's sort of experiencing a new environment, a more country setting, like really country setting for the first time. I think I know you're from sort of a rural area, but not like this.
Yes. I'm definitely, I've definitely gotten a lot better with my, I guess, life transitions, or just handling big change with a little bit more grace, a little bit more ease. Of course, there's always good days and bad days, no matter where you are, what you're doing. But yeah, for the most part, it's going smooth.
Just want to say hi to everybody. Hi, Ethan. Hi, greatest ever. Sorry to hear that about your parakeets. Greatest ever. Yeah, I mean, birds are awesome. I love coming out here and like hearing the birds in the morning. Greatest, you're saying the stream is buffering. Is anybody else having streaming issues, or is it all good? Just shoot me a little okay or whatever. Spiritual soil. We believe that we are. And that's one of the things that I'm going to be going into more detail about. But right now, I guess I'm just going to say I've been sort of like a person who's really picked apart a lot of like the new age deceptions and a lot of the new age disinformation and a lot of the things that are like sort of like thought memes that have been in like the so-called twin flame community that have been being passed around. And there's a lot of misunderstanding around this topic. And that's one of the things that I've really, really attempted to like sort out. And of course, I can only go off the information that I have and my experience. And so I'm going to be discussing that more. But the way that I view it is pretty well explained in the video that I made, Twin Flames and the Magic of 12. And if you get into the Keylontic science material, it talks about 12 incarnates, which correlates with the 12 chakras, the 12 DNA strands, the 12 realms, the 12 spheres on the Cathara grid, which is the corrected, the correct version of what we have been told is the Kabbalic tree of life. Right? Kabbalic tree of life being a distortion of the cathartic grid. And that's not an argument I want to get into today. I've made videos about that in the past. But yeah, we will definitely be talking about all of these topics. I'm being told that
it's buffering pretty bad.
I'm having some streaming issues. Ethan says the stream's okay. Anybody else having streaming issues? And yeah, spiritual soil. It's definitely one of those things where, like, I think that those of us that are in a dynamic like this do, like, kind of recognize each other. I have not personally met too many people in the flesh that I feel are in, like, an authentic twin dynamic. However, there's levels to it. And that's, again, something that I'm going to be going into, because I met 3 people that I thought were potentially, you know, a twin. There's different names for, like, all of the different scenarios that can occur, you know, shadow twins, catalyst twins, you know, twin rays, soul rays, soul flame, yada, yada, yada. There's so many different names. I'm not going to get into all the details of defining what each one of those things is, because for me, what's important is that you're going to attract reflections. You're going to attract reflections that are needed and necessary for you at the time. You may also attract reflections that are coming from, like, more of, like, the dark forces, so to speak. And, you know, that is, again, another thing that I've spoken about. I made a video a while back about shadow twins, and you highly recommend, like, really listening to that video if you're having, like, a darker type of experience. You can pull yourself out of it, and if and when you do, you will meet your true reflection. But, you know, a lot of people get fooled, you know, including me. I got fooled into thinking that, like, you know, someone who was, like, really in an inverted and dark place, as I kind of was at the time, was my true reflection, and they weren't. They were a reflection of my lower ego. But that was a necessary experience for me, and, like, learned so much because of having that experience. So I'm having some, like, really, really weird computer issues come up, which, like, it's happening.
It's always something.
Yep.
We can talk a little bit about that and how there's just been.
You're definitely going to talk about that. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, just how it's been obstacle after obstacle, but all in all, we're aware that we needed to learn the lessons associated with each and every one of those obstacles. In Florida, when we were in the St. Pete area, it literally felt like we were in a pressure cooker. So drawing in lots of, I guess, stressful experiences that we had to then learn how to manage and regulate our own emotional systems as we move through it. And I can't say I personally learned a lot from that time frame. It's really hard to see.
Yeah, no, I can read it though. My screen is literally, like, just totally freaking out right now. I've never seen my computer do this. But we're gonna roll with it. If it gets to a point where it's, like, no longer viewable for you guys, I guess what we could do is we'll cut the live short, and then we'll pre-record a video. But we're gonna keep rolling as long as it's okay. If it gets really bad, please let us know. But I'm looking at Ethan's comment right now. That's awesome, Ethan. I'm really happy for you, and you know, I hope that goes well. I would love to go to Brazil. We've been talking about maybe trying to take a trip down to that area of the world. No More Games says, Joe, every channel that's talking about healing is getting live streaming issues, it seems. Yeah, I've been dealing with this type of stuff for a very long time, so it's nothing new. And we're about to talk about some of the interference that we've been through. It's been absurd.
Yeah, no, we're in a higher frequency. This stuff tends to happen on the regular.
Yep.
Whether it's in our texts or if it's on a YouTube video or if it's on social media. Yeah.
I'll share one thing that was, like, very obvious that made it, like, super obvious what we were when it was happening. Our lives, especially when we're high in frequency, are, like, very mirrored. Like, I would be, like, outside at work. She would be at the beach or something. And I would text her and be like, hey, I'm outside doing breath work and meditating. And she'd be like, I just sat down to do breath work and meditating, and then I would do my breath work and meditate. And when I would get to like the peak of that experience where I was like feeling like really good, I had earbuds in and they would start cutting out. And that would only happen when I was doing that. So like, and it happened a bunch of times. And then there were times when me and her would be texting each other and like we would both have like kind of a peak experience, and the phones would just completely do what our computer's doing right now and just freak out. Like the screen would just freak out. And it only happened during those times. My phone has never before or since done that. So like there's things like that that are like very obvious. And we would like, I mean, it still happens today. It's just that we're together all the time. We're super used to it. Like we're super used to like reading each other's minds all the time. And like I think something and then she says it. And it happens so often that like we don't even like notice it as anything special anymore. But it's just normal to us. But like it's not normal. Like it's not the average person's experience whatsoever. And there's so many things like that.
Example of that is like little things where I could, and I've been kind of testing and experimenting and playing around with this. I'll ask him in my head, with the intention of communicating telepathically, like, hey, Joe, can you turn off the light? And then I won't even have to say anything, and he'll just go turn off the light. And I'll be like, did you hear me say that in my head? And he'll be like, no, I just got the urge to, and little things like that. So it's kind of been fun to play around with.
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Hi, Crystal. Thanks, Spiritual Soil. It's nice to finally be here. Like we worked really, really hard to get here, and like we've been through a lot. And like in terms of like interference, there have been since day one when we met like a year and a half ago. From day one, there's constantly been just a flood of like basically other people online, family, just with us at every possible junction without people to cause some kind of emotional disturbance, trying to keep us off of our purpose, trying to derail us. Whenever we would try to make videos, something would happen right beforehand. There was like an entire year where every time I tried to meditate, my house could be totally dead quiet. As soon as I lay down to meditate, within 5 minutes, knock, 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 music or something like that. It was really, really ridiculous. So it's taken quite a while for us to like clear all the energy and like develop ourselves and like make the intelligent moves that we needed to make. Like we need to get out of this environment that we're in. Like it is not conducive to what we're trying to do. It is not healthy for us. It is toxic.
When we were in St. Pete.
Yeah. And so like now like we're in this like beautiful environment, and the contrast between the two different places is so like ridiculous. Like we just like, it's like a huge weight just got lifted off of both of us.
Breath of fresh air.
So yeah, and as you know, if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, like this has been something that's been very ongoing for me. From basically the time that I had my awakening like 7 years ago. Had a heart chakra opening, and then like everything just got turned upside down. And I've continually had like, these experiences, but they keep like leveling up. They keep like upgrading. It's like I'm experiencing a lot of the same things, but I'm experiencing more and more and more refined versions of them. And I'll talk about how that's reflected like, in being Sydney as well, as that's absolutely the case. Like I've met a more refined version of like the feminine aspect of myself, right, than previously. And that's not to say like, the people that, maybe I was involved with before. Yeah. I don't know where they're at this point. I've changed a lot. Maybe they have too. Maybe it was just a case that like, that's where me and those other people were at the time. And maybe we both needed that at the time to get to where we are now. I'm not in contact with any of those people.
All relationships work though.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm just going to read the comments again here real quick.
I can't.
I've noticed more telepathic communication going on recently. Yeah. I think it depends a lot on the frequency of the other person. If you're someone who's able to do that, it's just going to like depend on where the other person is at. Crystal says she's experiencing these things with her partner as well. Yeah, I think that it's actually happening. Like, even like I'm noticing it even with friends to a little bit of a lesser degree than, well, much lesser degree than with Sydney. But yeah, I mean, some of this stuff's been happening for years. I've got one particular friend who lives here that I've known since I was like 11, and me and her have this thing where, like, if either one of us is ever like in trouble or distress, we will call each other. It's just a thing. It just happens. Yeah. Greatest. Like, it's funny because like someone actually said to us before we left that like we were running from something, and it's like, no, we're getting out of a toxic environment and we're moving into an environment that's actually good for us. That's not running from something. It's,
that also came from a narcissistic person, so.
Well, I guess if you want to say that, but it's point,
the truth, is it not?
It's not something I want to talk about here right now.
Got it.
But but the point is that like doing something good for you and getting away from something that's bad for you is not running, and it's not necessarily escapism. Putting yourself in a position to succeed, there's nothing wrong with that.
Is intelligent.
So I guess I'm just saying, like, maybe I wouldn't personally use that language to describe what we've done. I feel like we've just made a move that really supports who we are and what our mission is. Hi, Candace. Yeah, we're here for at least the time being. We'll probably be here for a few months. That's the goal.
Definitely here to enjoy the beautiful summer.
Get away from the miasma. Yeah. I actually we actually just had an appointment with my health counselor, whose name is Laura Plord. I've spoken about her on the channel. And I was actually going to take a miasm packet a few weeks ago, but we decided to forego that. But yeah, miasms. And I think maybe what you're referring to is the word miasm. I think means like toxic air and relates to swampland, and like literally, like Florida is a physical representation of miasma. Like, it's like not a good, like, humans are not designed to live in that environment like at all. It's like not that great for you. I love the sunshine, I love the beach, but apart from that, like, no thanks. Yeah, so I see that's what you meant. Cool. Yeah, basically, if we could manage to go off grid right now, we would probably do that. But there's a lot. If you guys are watching, like, if you're living in a city and you like feel like you need to get out to nature, like need to get out to a better environment, like, make it happen and do it now, because like you guys know things are getting crazy out there, and the cities are getting worse and worse and worse and more inverted right now. The contrast is becoming more stark, and it's very easy to like identify like who and what people are. Go be around people that are like you, that are going to support you and like, being the healthiest you. That's my strongest recommendation. I'm sure Sydney would say the same. Like, get out of the city. Some people like cities, and if that's your thing and you really feel good there, then cool. But me, no. And I'm sure most of you are probably like us, and like, would love to be, sitting outside and listening to birds and like feeling at peace instead of listening to, horns and sirens and just dealing with toxic people like every single day, and like just, not having any privacy and, that type of thing. So yeah, get out to the country if you can. Yeah. Ethan, we're going to be probably doing some traveling, over the next few years. And, yeah, I actually have met a few of my viewers, but we're gonna be doing workshops. We're gonna be at some point hosting events, workshops like physically, and so like there will definitely be like opportunities for us to meet, and like we're getting to a point in time where like we're starting to find our tribe. I think a lot of us are starting to find our tribe, and I think that takes some time. but I see a future where we are kind of living in like more, small. I like the word tribal, but like rural communities. That's like a village, where it's more, I think, congruent with people like us, hooked into all of this technology. Which I'm wondering, maybe the reason the tech isn't is because this tech is not built on our energy dynamics, and this tech has been built by the inverted systems. And maybe when we're raising our frequency and getting closer to like who and what we really are, it stops functioning. Maybe being us and emitting this will shut this mother down. Like that's, I don't know. It's just what popped in there.
Yeah. So, and then besides technology, we're not designed to be exposed to this amount of information at all times. Hence why digital detoxing is so important, not only from the electromagnetic fields and frequencies it's emitting, but also for your mind's sake, because diet and nutrition applies to things more than just the food and liquids you put into your body, but it's what you're watching, what you're reading, what you're scrolling through, and all those things too.
I've made a big deal about music a lot. I've especially picked on rap music a lot, like stuff like Eminem. Those of you who are around my age, I'm like 35, who like in middle school and stuff, like listen to people like Eminem. Think about the lyrics that like that guy spewed out, and like just the horrible things that he said. And we're listening to that stuff on repeat. It's getting like gouged into our subconscious. And I used to talk about like the fact, why do they use like those heavy bass tones? Well, because it hits you in the lower chakras and it affects your brain stem, and it sends that stuff directly in there. And that's like the hardest part of the psyche to unearth, to illuminate, to transmute. Yeah, it is a spell. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yep. And they're using things like hypersigils and predictive programming, and like, talked years ago about basically use our own creative capacity against us and get us to manifest these like negative timelines. Like on Ascension Glossary, if you go Ascension Glossary and type in Armageddon software, it spells the whole thing out. It like tells you like, yeah, they're like getting us to like manifest like these particular timelines by like putting it in a book that 1 million or 1 billion people read, and that's where some of those twists come in. And I'm not going to go into detail about that today. Again, not my area of expertise, but yeah, it absolutely is a spell. So how long have we been rolling for? About 30 minutes. Yeah, I think, we pretty much like kind of covered what we came here to talk about. I mean, you want to talk a little bit about your TikTok and what you're offering in terms of like the the fascia maneuvers and the personal training and stuff like that?
Well, we're still working on getting our website up, so I can't really direct you to there, but for now I can direct to the TikTok. But so for anyone I have not introduced myself to yet, hi, I'm Sydney. I'm a holistic personal trainer focusing in progressive postural correction training, all of which is done barefoot, where we're looking at the body as one complete unit. And then basically I curate exercises that help to pull your body back into alignment naturally. So that way your resting muscle tone is in alignment. I could go really far down that rabbit hole or that tangent, but another thing I do is fascial release, or I'm a fascial release instructor. So this is more working with the meridian system and the emotional body to release trapped emotions and get the tension and restrictions out of the fascia itself. And I offer both of those services separately or combined now. My TikTok handle is sydney.humangarage. I do live classes there, and my link sheet is in TikTok, where you can book a session or explore other things. I have a few other affiliate things, but I'm not going to go into that at the moment.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
And we're kind of combining forces here, and so my role is to kind of educate and talk about and I do so from drawing upon a lot of the information and research I've done, but a lot of it's just come from my experience and feeling into what's happening, right? And feeling into things like this particular energy is coming up in this particular situation, and I'm getting pain in this particular area, and in talking about how the energy restriction literally correlates to the emotion, to the and to the experience that you're projecting out, and how to move through all those, how to identify it, and and tying it together with quantic science, with all the concepts and looking at the whole thing and trying to explain it, kind of bridge between science, quantic science, and spirituality. Sydney is
I can explain it. I've been waiting to explain this part about how he's bridging that gap, and I'm focused more of bridging the gap between body work, physical movement, of the physical and the energetic. So out of college, I did the holistic personal training for postural correction. So everything was through a physical therapy lens. And then a little bit later, I discovered the fascial maneuvers and the fascial release techniques as I was starting to kind of open my awareness and add tools to my toolbox that focus more on the specific emotions. And there was something you said that I wanted to add.
Bridging the gap?
I know, but it was very specific. Just about how I more so look into how our emotions get stored within our fascia in areas that are metaphysically symbolic in regards to energy and the chakras and all the things. So yeah.
So I mean, we are of sharing in the beginning was of correction. Hi, Seven.
Oh yeah, there's one more thing I wanted to say about how so the last year we've kind of been keeping everything on the down low. We really kind of put the work on ourselves so we can be teaching the best we possibly can. I've spent this last year integrating and doing what kind of described. I explained it way better the first time off camera. I'm still working to feel comfortable with communicating and articulating on these public platforms, but it's a process.
Yeah, we made a lot of attempts to make videos, guys. It wasn't like we weren't trying. We tried in the beginning, and there was just a lot that wasn't going the way we wanted it to go. And through those attempts, we learned a lot through all of these experiences, and we've sorted it all out, and we're here now, and it feels right, feels good. And so we're moving forward. We will be here again next Friday. I'm gonna address a couple of comments here. No more gas. Do you use kettlebells helping them to heal? And I think that's for you.
At the moment, all of the training I do is just body weight, plyometrics, calisthenics, things of that nature. Because when you understand the biomechanics, as well as just a general understanding of physics, you can manipulate the body into whatever angle you need to target a muscle group or a specific myofascial line or anything like that. I have nothing against weights. I lifted in college playing volleyball at USF. He likes the weights. I've looked a little bit into MoveNat, which is another movement philosophy that's about again correcting your alignment, working with nature. So in that philosophy, it's like lifting heavy rocks, lifting heavy logs, and stuff like that. I've done little bits here and there with kettlebells, and yes, I've know that that's a whole nother field of its own. And yeah, I guess, did I answer the question, or was I just talking?
I think so. Greatest ever says they'd hire you every week if they could.
I do Zoom sessions.
So guys, I want to quickly, I'm going to give my mom a shout out because she is moderating the channel right now. Hat Trick Farm is my mother's YouTube account, and she's been doing a lot of hard work, making a lot of videos about fish. She breeds fish. Right now she's focused on goldfish. I think she's kind of started with bettas.
Beta?
Betas, yeah, same thing.
Beta,
fish. Betta fish?
Beta fish. Is it
Whatever.
beta or beta?
People pronounce it either way. But yeah, I spent quite a few hours in the first few videos, like walking my mom through how to like make YouTube videos, and now she makes better videos than me. So, yeah. Thanks for moderating, Mom. And I feel like there was a comment that just got did, but I don't know what that was about. I'm not gonna worry about it. Thank you, Seven. Yeah, like I said, we're planning to do this on a weekly basis. So we've been here for like 36 minutes. I think we'll probably call it good for today. I think this was a good icebreaker for us. I know that I was a little bit nervous. Like I've been really getting in my head about doing this for a while. Kind of having, a while back, I was like having some confidence issues, kind of dealing with like some imposter syndrome. And yeah, it was just, there was a lot of physical space that we're into. But I feel good now that we're rolling and we've been talking for a few minutes. And I just want to thank all of you. Those of you who are here still, thanks for chilling with us for 40 minutes. And thank you for all of your comments and your support. It's been really cool coming on here today. For those of you who have, I all of you that are talking right now in the chat are subscribers. But for those who may watch this later, like who've stuck with me for the last few years, like thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Thank you for all of your support. I haven't always been the best about answering comments, and that's because I would let the 1% or less negative comments that people left like really get to me. And so like for a while I just want to deal with that. So I just kind of took a break, and I took a break like from the internet. Like even when I was posting a lot of my last content, like I would be posting videos, but like I was like I wasn't on Facebook, I wasn't on any social media. Like I didn't use my phone. Like it was just like I make a video, I post it, and then I just like walk away from the computer. So, but I'm trying to be a little bit more present and trying to interact with you guys a little bit more. Trying to answer, comments and stuff like that. I know my last couple of videos, I went on a couple of times and looked at the comments. I haven't looked at them in a while, so I'll probably go back and like check and make sure that I haven't missed any. And then we're just going to move forward. And I'm going to be making a lot of content about all the things that we've talked about. My end is, going to be a lot, very focused on twin flames like it has been, but also focused on Halkunst, which I intend to go to school for. And like, now that we're in like a decent environment, I might actually be able to pull that off, like spending the time doing that. Talking about Keylontic science, talking about metaphysics, talking about all of the tools that I've used to get to the place that I'm in from where I was at.
And I'll be talking about the fascial system and releasing trapped emotions through physical movements and conscious awareness and breath work. A little bit of everything. So I integrate a lot.
Yeah. Sydney does her own thing on TikTok. I might be fortunate enough to be invited on there once in a while. But we're gonna be doing stuff together for sure. And Sydney would be teaching you guys movement. I'll be over explaining every possible angle of it and Raleigh driving you crazy. But it's gonna be fun. Yeah. So let me just read the comments one last time here.
I always joke that I got movement better than I can speak English. I speak body language better than English, and you'll know what I mean once I get on here and do a class in that regard.
Greatest Ever says, shout out, Mama. Great work. Don't sweat it. No more games. Crystal says, thank you guys. Happy to see you both. Happy to see you as well, Crystal. Thank you for joining us. Greatest Ever says, haha, you go, girl. I don't know what they were referring to with that, but definitely talking to you. Seven says that you're gorgeous and lovely.
Thank you.
Seven. Ethan, good to see you as well. We'll see you again soon. And yeah, Crystal said she needed that information. I'm trying to keep up with the comments. My screen is really messed up. So,
yeah.
But Yeah, we're gonna call it a day here. So
I'm getting bug bites.
Yeah, we're both getting bit. I'm starting to it's a little bit hot out there, so we're gonna call it a day. But again, thank you all for being with us today, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.